Hello, I wanted to make a short video today because today's a little important for me. It's been 4 years that I've been sober now. Cinco de Mayo, quite the day to choose to go sober, but I wanted to make a video just really in hopes that it might inspire somebody, bring hope into somebody's life who might be in a position that I was over 4 years ago when it came to alcoholism and addiction and depression. Kind of goes hand in hand many times in many instances. But just one thing that I always keep in mind is that it really truly to me is a miracle that I am sober. I never thought that there would be the day where I'd be sober unless I was dead. Truly, I thought the only way that I could be sober, or the only way that I could be fixed from the hell, the prison that I was in with alcohol and stuff, was to die. And that was kind of a sad existence, really. And it was tough on the family. And even though if you asked me back then if I, put my family first and loved my family, I would have said, yeah, I absolutely put my family first over anything, and I love them more than anything. And, now with a sober point of view, I know that was not true because I chose alcohol, over them all the time. And it just consumed me. Even though I knew my family was the most important thing to me, alcohol was what I followed, and it was tough. It was really tough to live like that, and I thought I was alone a lot of times. Most times I did think I was alone. I didn't think too many people understood, and I thought that virtually everybody was normal, and that they didn't have an addiction to alcohol like I did. I couldn't have just one drink. I couldn't go out and party with friends and stuff and just have a few and then cut it off at 8:30 at night or so, like, because I had to drive or whatnot. Forget all of that. I mean, if alcohol was involved, I was gonna drink until I couldn't drink anymore, I guess, or until the bars closed, or whatever the case may be. And then I got on to where I was sneaking it from my wife. I didn't want her to see exactly how much I was drinking. So I started lying, and all those things, day after day after day after day after day, month after month, year after year of doing that stuff, it adds up. It takes a toll. I never physically hurt my children or my wife or anything like that, but I was not there emotionally for them. I did put alcohol first, and I was just miserable, and so was my wife. And, luckily my kids were really young and might not, remember those times and everything like that. But the bottom line is that it was just such a dark place that I truly thought the only way out of it was through dying. And thoughts of suicide crossed my mind many times. I don't know if I ever would have taken it to that level per se, but I did wish I would die virtually on a daily basis. I mean, I just didn't care if I got into a car accident or if something like that happened to me. It wouldn't have mattered. Nothing. My family would have been better off. I would have escaped the hell that was in my mind and my head. So finally I hit my rock bottom, and we all have our own rock bottom, I guess. And I decided that, I mean, the only thing I did have to lose was everything, right? So why not do something just out of pure desperation? I threw my hands up in the air, and I just told my wife, I said, Chelsea, I'll just do anything that you tell me to do. I don't know where to go. I was very ignorant when it came to recovery and all of that kind of stuff. So we just sought after counselors and started just going down from there. And one thing that I started doing, I don't know why, I didn't necessarily consciously try to do it, but then I realized how important this was and still is to this day in my recovery, is honesty, truthfulness. So I just started telling everybody, that I'm an alcoholic and I'm seeking help. I'm seeing a counselor right now. I I was just hoping they could point me in whichever direction to go. I didn't go to a 12-step recovery center or anything like that. At the time, I finally did go to a intensive outpatient program. I was living in Texas at the time, and I was humbled by going to that. It was after work. It was like 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock in the evening, and it was pretty crazy to see some of the kids in there that were 18, 19 years old and have lived on the streets and have been through prostitution and have seen and done some incredible, crazy, scary things, and I was just absolutely humbled, thinking that I had this monopoly on misery, or I had this monopoly on addiction, and I was the only one who felt the way I felt and had to go through woe is me, right? And it opened my eyes when I saw all of these kids and other individuals, older too, going through the same things. And when I started to open up and be honest and forthright with people, not even in that recovery setting, but with others, I started to realize, wow, how many people actually do. It's not a laughing matter, actually, how many people actually do suffer from addiction, depression, mental illness, whatever the case may be. It's actually very, very prevalent, and it is. There are so many people out there walking around with chemical imbalances. They don't even realize it. It might not be extreme. It might not be horrible or anything like that. But that's why we really shouldn't judge other people and play that role of judging other people, because everyone is so different, and all of our chemicals in our brains are just so different. And that's why it's called a disease, because it is a chemical imbalance. It's something that was there, predisposed to drinking, to taking drugs, and being addicted to them, because it would help balance out, self-medicate. That's what I learned that I had started to do, was self-medicate, and then got addicted to it through self-medicating, trying to balance out the chemicals, in my brain, because it was just so whacked out, which I'm not surprised, because my whole family suffers from, virtually everybody in my family has some sort of a mental illness, depression, addiction, whatever the case may be. And my mom, 2 years ago, this coming September, she passed away. She had suffered for decades with depression and many bouts of, many times trying to commit suicide, and finally succeeded a year and a half ago. And I just really want everybody to know that now, I have found recovery, and it truly is a miracle. I do work it every single day, though. To me, I don't necessarily go to a 12-step meeting, and I'm not saying it's bad. I think those are fantastic and awesome, and everybody's different, like I've said. And there's so many different things out there for recovery, and for people finding themselves in a situation where they're hurting or they're addicted to some substance or whatever the case may be. There's always a way. There's always, always, always a way. And it's not just death. It's not just dying. And I know by now that there's a lot of people out there that feel that way, that the only way to escape their personal hell of addiction or mental illness is through death, and it's not the case. It's just not true. I used to think that, but there are so many forms of recovery out there. To me personally, I found mine through health, fitness, personal development. It's a program that I work every single day, virtually. It doesn't mean I work out every single day of the year, but I'm always conscious of my exercise and my, I don't like the word dieting, but lifestyle, or my health when it comes to nutrition and how I eat. And then also personal development. Always trying to read personal improvement books, no matter what it is. It could be, I'm in sales, so I read a lot of sales books. That helps me in my profession. Through Beachbody, that everybody knows that, most everybody knows that I am a Beachbody coach. There's leadership books that I read because my wife and I've got a pretty big team, a fantastic team. Management books, whatever the case may be. Finances, that's a huge one. I love reading about finances and helping organize my finances and be more organized that way. Anyway, that's the program that I work, that I have found, that I have thrown my whole heart and soul into, to distract me from the substance abuse and all of that kind of stuff, and I actively work that, and it keeps me on top. And then honesty and videos like this, sharing that, hey, I'm an alcoholic, and I'm very proud that I am 4 years sober, and I definitely credit God, my family, the decision to keep trying and not giving up. There's so many factors that play into it, but it really boils down to making a decision that death is not the only way. There's got to be another way to living life, and there is. And I just want everybody out there to know that, because even if you don't suffer from addiction or depression or mental illness, you might know somebody that does suffer from it, and they might be somebody very close to you, might be a friend of yours or whatever. Just the best thing that you can possibly do is love them, show them love, and it's hard to understand mental illness and addiction. It really is. It really is, and sometimes it's got to be tough love. But try not to just judge. If you have to step away to protect yourself, that's totally fine. It's your decision to do so. But whatever the case may be, just love that person, because that person's going through hell. If they're suffering from addiction or from mental illness, or whatever it may be. So I hope that, that kind of rambled a lot, but I hope that somebody out there might get the message that death is not the only way, like I used to think, to be sober and to live a magical life. I am so grateful for my family, for my life. Now it truly is a magical life. I've got my ups and downs and my hardships and struggles and all of that kind of stuff, but I look at it as, it's a miracle. I mean, to me, it's a miracle that I'm able to go through those challenges and heartaches and ups and downs and successes and all of that stuff with a sober mind and a support system too. So anyway, I hope you guys have a wonderful Cinco de Mayo. Be safe out there. If you got any questions, feel free to ask away. I'm an open book. I love you guys lots, and have a great day.